An artist texts you, sends you a DM, they saw your work on Instagram or wherever you continue to post it right now, and said, hey, I want to work with you. You're like, great, I get to show the people what I am made of. And then you start getting inside your head and you're like, well, I don't have this, or a budget, or a place to shoot, or this, or that. I just have me. There's no team. I don't know if I can do this. And what if, hello, lovely people, it is Hales. Welcome back to another video. Glad you're here. I want to talk about something that is actively going on in my life right now, on that calendar back there, making music videos. You guys have seen, and I've talked about it before, working with the artist HAILSJSPH, and we are back at it again, creating something else for the end of October. Those videos are out right now, the actual music videos themselves, so take a second to go watch them. But if you want to know how to be someone like me and create music videos on your own, this is the place to do it. We're going to be talking about 4 different things: the pitch deck, the production plan, the actual making it part, and then editing it. So stick around for this 4-part series. It's going to be something interesting. And today we are starting with the pitch deck, the planning, the beginning of the beginning. Listen, I went to school for it. I spent $60K to get the degree in film and television, but you don't have to. My film professors would be proud. Anyways, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go spend $60K. You got me here to help you through that process. I'm going to share with you all the trade secrets. We're going to talk about a pitch deck, a production plan, the actual making it part. We're going to be on set together at some point eventually, so be tuned for that in the next parts in these series. And we're going to talk about editing it, so you guys get to see step by step the results that it took to get from point A, where we are now, to the end result. So sit back, relax, enjoy, subscribe, and let's get to the beginning, planning the pitch deck, the beginning of beginnings. So, like we talked about earlier, the musician has already reached out to you, sent you that introductory text. You've moved it along to the point where you're like, okay, give me a second to listen to these songs so I can come up with something. And that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna listen to the songs. Let's listen. So after you take a second and you actually listen to the song, and I mean listen to the song, I literally take the MP3 files that he sends me, put them on my preferred streaming platform illegally, essentially, and then take those and just play them on loop in my headphones, just so I can go do the dishes and just listen and do this and listen and do this and listen until I'm like, I see it. I see the things that are in my head. But before we get there, you have to actually listen to the song, listen to the lyrics, listen to the themes, listen to the motifs that the artist is actually putting into the song itself. Sometimes the artist might even have an idea that they have general thoughts on already, but they want you to expand upon. Take all of those things into consideration. You really want to listen to them. You got to listen to the songs. You want to listen to the lyrics. You want to see if there are any themes or motifs that you can pull out of the lyrics. Maybe there's even particular objects or references that the person is making in the song or rap that you're like, hey, I can utilize those elements visually and put those into the music video. You're going to want to sit there and take in that content, listen to it over and over and over again. I promise you, you might be sick of some of these songs by the time you get to the end of your project, but I promise you it's worth it, because once you're putting that intentionality behind it by that repetition and listening over and over again, you're going to find the little things that make the song unique. That way you can make your music video more unique than you might have made it in the first place after just one listen. You want to put in the work of that repetition, listening to the songs. So when it came to this particular project with Jay, something that he emphasized to me that was very important was that all the music videos had to be interconnected. He wanted the stories to flow into one another, back to back. This particular EP, it's only 3 songs, so I was like, okay, We can do a beginning, middle, end type of thing with this. We just got to figure out where those motifs and themes lie in order for us to make those interconnections. So that's something that I was holding on to towards the very top of this particular project for Miss You Sincerely. And there's probably something that you can find within your projects that you are working on that give you a thread to build off of. So just find something, listen to those songs over and over again, find your themes, find your motifs. When it came to the project that I'm working on with Jay, I would say I felt a lot of grief, a lot of sadness, a lot of sorrow, a lot of overcoming at some point, a lot of inner dialogue, a lot of reflection that he's having with himself, which comes up later in the themes and motifs that I bring visually to this particular project. Because of that, that means we're going to start with theme and story at the very, very beginning of our pitch deck that we are sending back to the artist so they can review and be like, yeah, I can understand and I like that idea. Theme and story are at the core what we care about most as human beings, no matter what kind of storytelling it is, whether you're just listening to the song or if you're watching the music video or if you're watching a movie or if you're reading a book. Those are the things that stick with us the most. So think about that while you're making your music videos, while you're making your creations, theme and story. Speaking of pitch deck, what exactly is that? Essentially, you're going to make a PDF file that you can send that's like a presentation of your idea to that artist. And I promise you, you might be thinking, especially if you've never done this before, oh, that's too much. I'll just send them a text and that'll be the idea. They'll understand, they'll get it. You will regret that, I promise you. Because you're going to get to your shoot, you're not going to be on the same page with the artist because you saw red string and they saw blue string and they're like, why wouldn't you get blue string? Of course, get blue string. Now they're mad at you because the blue string is the one thing that messed it up. I'm just saying. It could have been something bigger than blue string, and that was just the only idea that came to mind. But I promise you, making this pitch deck, making this little presentation PDF file is going to be very important because you want to be on the same page with the artist. You don't want to go out there in the dark and be like, I kind of want to do this, and they're just like, okay, we can kind of do this. That's not professional. It's not going to work. And I think you guys want to make better videos than just the rapper talking to the camera, putting their hands out in 3 different locations, because you can do better than that. You're watching this video for a reason. So let's do better than that. Make the pitch deck. I promise you it's important. Everyone will get it, and it makes you look extremely professional. It shows that you know what you're doing, and not only that, but your artist and you can be on the exact same page of the ideas that you want to create. I'll show you a couple of images and clips of mine, but they are extremely important to do because you will be on the same page with your artist, and you yourself, if you have to do something in between while you're working on this, will understand if you go back to it like, hey, okay, that's what I wanted to do when I said this. So you've listened to the song, you've put some themes and words down together, and now you're starting to visually see some things come together. That's great. For me, sometimes I just see things while I'm listening. Sometimes you might play a word association thing where you see this word and that word can mean these things, and this is the way that you could visualize it. It really just depends. You just gotta start putting the pieces together so you can tell that story. So let's listen to one of the songs and I'll show you how I kind of got the visual for the beginning. Let's do Flyaway.
I be getting tired of making pain songs. I would think about it now that it will fade on. Lately I've been doing the mistake I made now, but I still think about the times when I would stay around.
So when I first listened to that song, I'm feeling the buildup of that guitar that's playing. The guitar gets a little louder, it gets a little bit more emotional as the beginning of the song drones in. And then you hear Jay's voice, and the first thing he says is, I'm tired of making pain songs. And that is a very significant lyric. As someone who is a developing and growing artist who already feels weighted by that. And you want to take it seriously. You want to take the lyrics that they're putting down seriously, right? So we take that, we look at it, and I go, okay, I'm listening to that swell of the guitar, and when I close my eyes, I visually just see us going in further and further and further. In on what? Jay. He was using, just for the most part, his natural voice while he's in that moment. So I'm just gonna go in. I'm entering his world, which is going to lead to that, what I was talking about earlier, how we want to make each one of these stories connect. That is the beginning shot that you get for the entire story, is us entering his world, entering his mind. And that's the first thing that he tells you. So when you're listening to your songs, you're listening to the lyrics that your artist has given you, consider where it falls in the story, where it falls in their story, not just in the actual music video itself, but in their progression of as they've been growing as an artist. You take those things into consideration, all those things stack and make the music video so much more impactful, so much more rich, so much more visual. It's not just the rapper doing this and having a conversation with the camera. It can be so much more if you just pay attention to those little things. And you want to go each individual lyric to the best of your ability and write out what you see visually as you're making this music video. Write it down in a journal, type it out on a computer, so that way you can have what we call the story. Essentially, you want to build that story moment by moment, beat by beat, so you know at the end of the day, this is exactly what's happening in the music video. And that way, when you convey it to the artist, they're like, okay, I understand exactly what's happening in the music video. They came to you for a reason. They want to understand what your brain is thinking about. And sometimes a lot of them are curious about like how you even made that mental connection to make something so cool. Share that process with them. A lot of them are interested in it. So beat by beat, make your story. Okay, so let's take our example, Flyaway. We talked about the visual of what I saw just when listening to the song. We listened to it together. And now I'm going to show you what I actually wrote out and this is what I mean when I say like, take your whole music video, write it out as a story. So this is what I wrote out for the very beginning of the music video for Flyaway. In darkness, black screen, we hear Jay a few times over and over. It's muffled. It sounds like him calling himself. In darkness, Jay walks into frame and sits on a stool in front of a large screen or projection. Slowly, the calling fades away and the guitar fades in and the song starts. So that is the very beginning of it. We are visually describing the story that is about to happen on screen. Even though we haven't even got to the production part yet, we can see what we want to happen so that way we can actually make it happen once we get to production. So after you get your story together, beat by beat, you know exactly what's happening. You want to take that next step, put that on your pitch deck, add that to the slides, okay? And then you're gonna wanna look at color, tone, wardrobe, all of the things that are about to bring it together visually. For me, when I listened to these three particular songs in the beginning, I saw darkness, I saw isolation, and so I'm trying to think of different ways visually that I can show those themes. And something that was really important to me was like black void, or being in a room that didn't really have an entrance or an entrance or an exit. It was just a room. Maybe a space in between, something in that realm. I wanted to convey that visually. So I know I wanted to do that with like a dark space. And we talked about Flyaway, how we are kind of creating that with the darkness and projection and kind of sitting alone type of situation. So like you can see it visually there, but also just in general, that darkness, I also use a lot of spotlights and stuff. All of that is referring to the motifs and themes that we came up with at the top of the video. So like we're coming back and we're thinking about what are we gonna do next? What visually is gonna happen next? Another thing that you wanna consider now is you might start looking at some other music videos for examples. You might start looking at movies, photographs, magazine covers, other music videos, movies, whatever it is, other songs, just to gather more inspiration for the thing that you want to create. Don't always just watch other music videos. Go out there and explore other pieces of work, documentaries, for example, that you can pull so you can make something that's really cool looking, that you can make that's vintage. Look at old movies. Think about the things and styles and motifs, themes, visual looks that you were thinking about, that you see in your head and think, oh, you know, Batman Arkham Knight, the animated cartoon, would be something that I would love to take reference and inspiration from, and figure out what makes Batman look like that, and then transfer it to your video. Think about those types of things. For me in particular, I looked at a lot of different music videos that were popular in the past couple of years because I was interested in what trends were particularly going on. And also I'm taking a little inspiration from the social media age and just a lot of trends that are going on digital platforms, and then combining them all into one central space. And so utilize websites like Pinterest and Google. Like I said, go explore other things like movies, other music videos and stuff like that to visually bring it together. We're just trying to put these puzzle pieces together so you and the artist can be on the same page. Because like I said earlier, if you guys are not visually on the same page, that's gonna hurt each other in the end. Something else that you might even consider is the wardrobe and what your artist is wearing while they're performing the music video. Sometimes, a lot of the times, you might see artists that aren't even in their music videos. They have actors portraying it for them. You might have to think about what they're wearing. You might have to think about how to get actors. We'll make an entirely different video on that. But if we're just working with the artist and it's just them on camera, you might want to think about what they're wearing. For this particular project with Jay, I was like, we're grieving. We are having a grieving process. We should wear clothes in respect of that. And for our particular culture, wearing black is what we do when we are grieving. So he, in the particular scenes that I'm putting up right now, you can see why he's wearing what he's wearing. It's all important, down to the way that the camera is being held, all the way to what he's wearing. Like, you want to think about those things and at least put them out there as suggestions, especially if that particular artist doesn't necessarily have a stylist that they're working with. You're just like, hey, these are the themes. I think it would be smart if we wore black, but kept it fashionable. These are the things that I'm thinking. Let them work with that. Give them ideas, give them, make them a part of this, because it is their thing as well. So you want to continue to utilize what you're coming up with from those themes and motifs, connect it back to the artist again, so everyone's on the same page, so this story that you're telling is told in the best way it can be. And last but not least, something that is extremely important that sometimes we all come to struggle with, whether that's photography or making a video, is finding a location. It's better and worse in certain states, but I'm gonna give you my best options in my opinion. That's just what I've used so far, especially when you're trying to do something for a little bit more of an affordable price. Peerspace and friends. Peerspace is not a sponsor. They could be, but they're not yet. Peerspace in particular, I think, is a wonderful platform to use when you are trying to find a place to shoot on the low. You need to learn how to use those minimum time frames wisely. Not only is that something that's very amazing and professional for you to be able to do, if you can shoot a music video in 2 hours, which you should be able to do if you plan it properly, not only is your client happy because they don't have to spend as much money, but you should be happy too, because you guys get to get out of there, you get your stuff, you get it done. It seems seamless, it seems smooth, it is very professional. No, I'm not gonna do the meme, never mind. When it comes to using Peerspace and platforms like that, it is very important to me to always be very respectful and thankful of the person who let you use their space. Give them credits in your films where you can. Give them credits in your music videos where you can. A little thank you goes a long way. Leave them a great review. Again, Peerspace is not sponsored, but these people are people too, trying to make their living, trying to help an industry that you're being a part of. So I always think it's very important to give them thanks and credit where credit is due, for them doing your part to make your vision come to life in the best of the ability that they can. So please be kind to the people who are running platforms and spaces like that, so you can, pass it on to the next person that deserves a good chance to use that space for a music video, for a film, for whatever it is. Let's say no money is trying to be spent on location. That's okay. You can always use a public space. You can always ask a friend. It's very possible. We shot that one at the beach. That is a public space. We give our thanks to the beach itself if we can. We clean up after ourselves, and we are always, return it as it was found. But, find a friend, find a public space, do your best you can in those spaces. Always ask for forgiveness. If you find yourself in a inconvenient or skeptical, suspicious location, be cautious. Ask for permits if you need to. Ask for permission where you have to, and because of law purposes, no trespassing, no breaking into places, no obey the rules and regulations, signs, road laws, all of that. That is extremely important. Do not go out there and get yourself in trouble over a music video. It is not worth it. I promise you, when you could have done something significantly easier. But just for those legal reasons, use public spaces wisely, but do not break the law. Okay, the pitch deck is roughly complete. You have made the ideas, you have your themes, you have your motifs, you have the stories beat to beat, you have the visual looks, you have inspiration, you have a mood board, you have locations, you have wardrobe. All of that together, nice and condensed within about 10 slides. And you get to send that out to your artist because you finally got it. You listen to the song and you have the idea ready to give to them. So you send it. And you wait. And sometimes they say, no, what is this?
This is not the idea I had in mind at all. In fact, I wanted this and I wanted that, and I don't understand how you got this from this. Like, dude, like, it's not that deep. Like, this and that.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's not possible. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Take the feedback that they give you. Hopefully it's good feedback. Work with it to the best of your ability. Sometimes the client isn't the right client for you, and sometimes that's just how it works out. It's okay. Work with what they say to the best of your ability. See if you can make their vision come true from where you got to where you came from. Meet in the middle in some way, shape, or form. It is still business at the end of the day. But hopefully they say something like this. And if they do say something like this, then that means you are locked in, you have secured the deal, you are ready to move forward with the plan and organizing the logistical stuff, the lighting, the way the camera moves, how we're gonna shoot this, how we're gonna shoot that. I wanna emphasize something. You can still be a homie and still be professional. Making this pitch deck does not make you not a homie. It just makes you professional. Be both. You can be cool and be professional. Sometimes a lot of people don't understand that there's an overlap of both of those things. Being professional is cool. So make sure you follow through with this. I promise you it is worth it in the end, because there's going to be someone who sees your idea and they are excited about it, and they are excited and want to invest money into you because you thought about it so well, that you put that energy out there. I promise you it's worth it. Promise you, for these 3 particular videos, it has taken time out of my life because I had to make props. I had to buy props. I'll show you all of these things at some point soon, especially in the next video. I had to put on a calendar that made sense for not just me, but everyone that I'm working with. So that way we can combine our times and use them wisely for the location that we're shooting at. Like, all of this stuff is important, and that is what we're going to talk about next. Subscribe for more, because that's what's coming up next.